Hey, I can do anything. I can do. I'm glad that the mosquitoes don't really find me delicious, but I'm putting on an extra coat.
Lucky for you. And we're in officially, I guess, day one of the retreat, and today is the opening ceremony, hence our red outfits. I don't know what today has in store. I know that at the end of today, we'll be ending it in plant medicine and psilocybin, and that will be an experience within itself. So we want to take that time to just like come and tap in before the day starts, and I guess summarize like what happened yesterday, like what we experienced yesterday at the dinner, because we met, I think, more than half of the women that's going to be at this retreat.
But where we left off yesterday was that we were getting ready to go to dinner, and we spent about 2 hours talking, eating, playing games,
getting to know everybody, icebreaker, and just talking. And it was really interesting because this is the largest, for me, it was the largest group of women I have been in a space with in the past, just period. I would say that are so open, so authentic, so transparent,
and so aligned, like so connected with what I've been labeling as like the divine feminine energy. These are women who've done shadow work. These are women who have the desire to get closer to themselves and have the desire to, I guess, live in their highest frequency and operate in their highest frequency.
And love. All I felt really was love.
Definitely.
And for me, I was journaling. It felt a little intimidating. I felt parts of some versions of myself show up in that space where I felt myself comparing. I felt myself, it was a little shocking to my nervous system because we had to introduce ourselves, and I'm like, girl, speak up. Like, sit up, you know? Like, it's not about, there's nothing I need to compare myself to. All of these women are mirrors and reflections of you. And so if there's anything that you're feeling, it's something that's within myself. And so I found myself being really observant what was going on in my body. This is the first time I've really was able to tap into that and feel all of the ups and downs. But we vibed with quite a few, like I vibe with a few women. I'm really looking forward to getting to know people more. Yeah. How about you?
I remember I said at the table that how beautiful and also how frightening it is to just be seen. I guess we all, including myself, deal with the fear of being seen. So first of all, I feel like every single person wants to be seen, wants to have space held for them to show up as their complete self. But when you spent your whole life masking, and you spent your whole life defending and being defensive and hard and have all this armor on, you show up to an event and you realize, oh, I don't need this sword. Oh, I don't need this breastplate. Oh, I don't need this shield. Right. And you lay down all this armor and you're left with this gooiness, and you left with this vibrancy, and you left with this child on the inside who hasn't really seen the light of day because we've been protecting ourselves this whole time. And I'll tell you how uncomfortable it is and how a little bit awkward I am to be around women who don't expect you to put on your armor. I'm like, lay that down, girl. I can see you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to hide. Like, why do you see me so clearly? And I said, because authenticity is real. Love is real. Self-acceptance is real. And plus, we can only see others as deep as we see ourselves. And so if they can see me, that means we have energies and we have things in ourselves that are aligned. And if they can see it in me, that means it's in them as well. And so it's kind of, I should take it as a compliment. I should take it as an honor to be seen. But I will just say simultaneously, although it feels like an honor, it feels hella scary.
It's been a defense mechanism of yours, but you also have the core of like not trusting people. So for somebody to see you first before you really had a chance to see them or get to know them, it's like wait a second, I don't know you. Like, I don't even trust you for you to be able to see me this clearly.
Yeah. I said in the group when I introduced myself why I'm here. So we went all the way around the circle of like, what's your name, where you from, and why are you here? And I remember saying that I'm learning how to reconnect with women. I'm learning how to, I'm really good at connecting with men, and I'm really good at speaking their language and operating in their norm. Women that I grew up with have only been operating just to be domesticated and just to compete with each other to see how well they can show up for men and how well they can censor their lives around their men and their children. And I've always had this rebellious spirit against that because I know I did not feel aligned to that. And I think naturally through other experiences, I've kind of learned to shield myself and to feel comfortable in my masculine energy, the control.
What does femininity represent for you?
Femininity represents for me a release. I did not know femininity until these last couple of years, maybe until this last year. And what I've seen is creativity. Always saw femininity as weakness. I always saw femininity as you're always the footstool. You're always the support to someone else's center stage. And that's not it at all. I'm learning that femininity is creativity. Femininity is flow. That's what I see in one of the women that we met last night. And she was so bright, and she was so flowy and so connected and so intentional. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to look at you with some sunshades on. Like, I want to see you, but I want the illusion that you can't see me, because I want to look and I want to stare and I want to observe and I want to see what I can adopt for myself. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't have anything else. I think we tapped into it.
It's about probably about 8:15 right now.
On the dot.
Ooh. We are going to go eat breakfast. We're eating light today because we're taking, like you said, taking part in psilocybin. So you don't want to eat meat and you don't want to eat bread. And so we're not going to eat after 4:30, but we're going to eat something light right now and go mingle with the other ladies.
I just got back from the opening ceremony, and it was a beautiful session with all of the ladies, minus one person who's still in the way. With all the ladies, all the facilitators, we opened with sharing who we are, whose daughter we are, whose granddaughter we are, whose great granddaughter we are, the mothers or the matriarch lineage, and our Sankopa, which is our intention for the retreat. And then they gave us a card. It looked like this. I know. I told her that I was going to take a picture of it. So everybody had a card that was on a mat, and you walked into the space. First, they washed your feet, and then when you walked in, you chose which mat you wanted to sit at, just randomly, and every seat had a card like this. And during your introduction, it was time for you to flip the card over and see which goddess is going to be essentially your guide or will be your support on this journey. And my goddess was or is Queen Nefertiti, and I thought that was really interesting. I just loved the power and her stance behind her, and I'm like, yes ma'am. I kept on thinking about Beyonce and her walking into a Coachella with that like bedazzled Queen Nefertiti inspired outfit. I was like that's exactly what I saw, and I'm like, yes, that is me. That is the energy that I want to embody. And then the word that's underneath it is essentially what is associated with that goddess and what would be associated with your journey. And my word is alchemy. And I felt that was very interesting and very telling, because I feel like I am an alchemist in my family and am in the midst of transforming and transmuting generations and generations of wounds that travel along my maternal line. And I am stepping into uncharted territories in this realm. So yeah, that is my goddess. What about you, baby? you remember yours?
Yeah, mine was Noonday. And I'm
Noonday.
looking her up right now,
Uh-huh.
which is the goddess of truth in Benin.
Mm-hmm.
Her element is water, and that's interesting because I'm a Pisces. It says Noonday, the bold, outspoken wife of Benin Iwa, which is a deity of Legba, was feeling neglected by her husband. Even with several wives, his head easily turned. So Noonday lived her truth, took her own lover, and became her own best friend. Noonday's guidance is get real. What is your truth? Truth telling matters. Being able to hear the truth matters just as much. So I feel like she's been with me the whole time. She's been with me lately. Of even just like helping you tell your truth, even probably being a little bit more pushy with trying to get everybody to accept just this truth or their truth. But anyway, each person has their own version. Speak yours. Words have impact. Remember that we all have triggers. Think before you speak and listen with compassion. Be gentle and stay calm in truth-telling conversations.
We are in the area called Canggu, C-A-N-G-U, in Bali. And this is actually, so this is our second time in Bali this year, but this is our first time in this city. And it's very different than where we were at, which was Nusa Dua. Nusa Dua is very resorty. And this area is definitely still more touristy, but if I were to be frank, it's like a gentrified touristy area. But there's a lot of things to do down this one street off the path of our villa. So we're just exploring now.
So the last time we were here, our tour guide was letting us know that places of businesses and homes, they usually put a masculine figure outside of their door, their front door, or the gates of their doors. There's a masculine figure and then there's a feminine figure. And that is a respect to their, I believe it's a Hindu culture, right? I think it's Hindu here. Hindu is here. So an example of what I'm talking about is this right here. So in front of this home, what you'll see is these temples, and it is a masculine figure and a feminine figure, and it's a protector for the house and the people that live there. And then places of businesses would also have this temple here. When they open up businesses, it's just to make sure that their business prospers and that they will be fruitful and make a lot of money. But they put it in front of gas stations, they put it in front of clothing stores, tattoo shops, anything like that. So this is actually a gas station for mopeds and bikes. How cool is this? I always am really fascinated by the way that they do things differently. One thing about us is we love coming into convenience stores and looking at their snacks. We're not gonna pick up any snacks right now. We're just looking because we eat plenty at the resort. But you know, they have their American things. If you need some toiletries, sorry, then they definitely have some here. All right, you're done. I really like the way these temples look.
And in Bali fashion, it just started raining out of nowhere. Like these big old droplets, that we're headed back to the compound now because we're not trying to be soaking wet.
Just a little wet.